Hey, Lighthouse, good morning. Today's my second devotion just on overcoming fear and facing fears in your life. And in financial terms, when they're speaking about investments, they speak about risk and return. And the greater risk you take, the greater return you will get on the investment you make. And I think life is like that. The truth is that you're only going to grow and you're only going to develop as you face your fears, take some risks, and step out of the boat and walk on water in whatever circumstance you find yourself in. And like I mentioned before, God's love language is fear. God's love language is love, and Satan's language is fear. And Satan wants to cause you to fear and intimidate, to stop you from doing things, or to tempt you to do things you know that are not right. God will lead you by His Spirit to face your fears and to overcome them and to obey Him, either to do stuff or to obey Him not to do stuff, and teach you that He is trustworthy and that you can trust His Word, His Spirit, His church, and His leading in your life. I remember a couple of years ago, the Lord spoke to Mara and I about giving away our dividend that we get annually from the businesses that my family and I own. And the truth is that the dividend that we get covers our kids' education, both schooling and university education. We supplement our income from Lighthouse with it, and we obviously use it to bless people. And it's quite a substantial amount of money, and we use it, like I've said, to not just pay for our kids' education, but also to sustain our life. And this particular year, the Lord said, Bruce, I want you to give it all away, and I want you to trust me. Now, I mean, that just immediately a whole lot of fears and insecurities rise when one hears the Lord do that. And also, one has also got to make sure that this is the Lord speaking and not yourself or the devil or just whatever, And so I really needed to hear from the Lord and get confirmations from Him. And kind of long story short, the Lord really confirmed it. And I spoke to Manny Pereira, in fact, one of my accountability partners, about what I felt the Lord was telling me to do. And he said, well, Lord, if it is the Lord and you've heard clearly from God, you need to do it. And so with a lot of fear and interpretation, Mara and I obeyed the Lord and we did it. And I want to tell you, there were 6 months of pain and financial pressure like never before in our lives, as you can imagine. And we owed quite a number of people money, and we didn't get into debt because we don't believe in debt, but we owed the school money, so that could be considered debt, but we didn't get into overdraft debt or credit card debt or anything like that. And long story short, never happened before. The businesses declared a special dividend, and that special dividend was bigger than any other dividend we'd ever had, and we're able to use that to meet all of our commitments. And God blessed us. And so just a case, I remember when the Lord had spoken and the temptation was to fear lack, fear not having enough money, and not obey God. But we didn't. We obeyed Him, and He came through for us, And I think there's that psalm that we've been looking at over the last while and mentioned a couple of times, Psalm 32. And it says there, do not be like a horse or a mule that needs bit and bridle to turn it where it wants to go. But it says there that I will tell you the way you should go, and I will lead you in the path to take for your life, and with my loving eye upon you. And God wants to lead us by His Spirit, and He wants to lead us by the inner still voice of His Spirit. And that's the best way to hear from the Lord. But fear often robs us of that voice. And then God has got to use circumstances and situations, which I think is like the bit and bridle, to get us to do what He wants us to do. And I'm learning in my life, and I'm 48, and I still haven't learned 100%, but I'm learning not to let circumstance lead me and let the Lord lead me through circumstance. But I'm learning to be led by His voice as a sheep with a shepherd. My sheep know my voice, and the voice of they will not follow. And I want to encourage us, let us be those that see what God is wanting us to do, hear what He's wanting us to do, and then do what He's wanting us to do and what He's telling us to do. Because if we are willing and obedient and we follow the voice of the Spirit, no matter how scared we are, no matter how crazy it seems, if it is God, I promise you, obedience is the best thing we can do for him, because we love him, not because we're trying to get anything from him, but just because we love him. And when we do that, we will walk in victory, freedom, and liberty like we've never known. So I trust this encourages you to face your fears and to use the love that the Lord has for you and your love for him to overcome the lies and intimidation of the enemy and live in the freedom that Jesus won for you. Have a fantastic day. God bless you.